I haven't made a video in a minute, so I thought I'd give a quick update. The scooter, which is sitting out there, I'm still working on it. It's just been real cold, and I'm kind of dependent on the weather to work on the welding and stuff outside. I've got another cold spell. I have been doing inside stuff. I brought this workbench inside and made a smaller one outside, which I may have showed before. It's not done. Now there's this one. A lot of that wood that's laying under there is part of the finishing bits, the braces and the back bit to this. This top's just temporarily on here. It's literally just paneling, plywood, thin stuff stapled to the side of the back, and then that, and then this, just so I can knock it loose later and make the permanent top. I just wanted to go ahead and have this light hung and see how I would like that width, because this is about a 12-inch board, and I think that's about how I want it, is a short but not too sticking out far top. Mostly been trying to organize my tools. I've got a lot of shitty, cheap, junky tools, so going through and figuring out what's still useful to me, what's not, what's worthless, it can just get thrown away. Separating out broken drill bits. Some of them I keep, just, you know, like the big ones. Whenever I do buy a $300-400 tabletop lathe, I'll probably use some of these bigger ones, try and make some cutting bits for them and stuff. But yeah, I've been taking the foam and the torch and just kind of doing that. I did that. This was an old, thing that came with the Dremel bit stuff anyways. These are actually mostly parts I don't use, but I keep them around just in case for on this side. And then these are just those little tiny ones that go into this. But yeah, doing the foam thing and just kind of doing that and doing it over there, and then probably on this one I'm going to cut some thin foam and start organizing all of these, which I've got a lot of these that are stripped out and ruined. So that'll give me a chance to, once I stick the foam in here, that'll give me a chance to start seeing which ones are worth keeping and which ones aren't, which ones I have way too many of, as it is with the Phillips and the flatheads. Those are the commons that you usually have a shit ton of when you hoard these cheapo ones. There's some good quality tools in here too, they're just kind of not very many. Like, I got some good stuff, and those sockets are all bad. The only reason I keep them around now, that I have a better socket set than a neighbor gave me, it's under there in that toolbox. They're much better. I'm going to keep them around for this summer in case I still can't afford to get the Allen wrench socket set. I'm going to cut up some of my Allen wrenches because I have multiples of the same size of them too. And then, I don't know if welding, I'll just test it out and find out. You can let me know in the comments if you've done it or you think it'll hold up. But yeah, since these already have the socket attachment, and most of these are just these weak ones that strip out easy, I figured I'd weld them in there, cut a little slot, and then squeeze in the vise or something, the thing into the thing, and then weld it or something. I don't know. But I figured I'd use those as adapters with some of those. Save me some money on buying a set, and I'm not sure how much torque they'll be able to take before they break or bend or come loose, because, heating them and welding them. We'll find out. But, yeah. So that's, going through all my stuff and figuring it out, moving everything around. That's what I've been up to. Still getting it all sorted out. This is my living room. I'm getting rid of that couch. There's a table in the corner I'm getting rid of. I'm probably going to get rid of this homemade little coffee table, which didn't really need a coffee table, but the cat liked the box, so I cut some holes in it and flipped it over and kept it around. And I had that piece of glass in storage on the back patio, and from the other coffee table that I tore apart and used the metal to make parts of the roof rails and things for the scooter. So I decided to make use of the piece of glass and just make a redneck coffee table for a little while. Cat liked it, but she only goes in there every now and then now, so I'll probably take it apart, see if anyone wants the sheet of glass, and throw the cardboard away. And then this is my quick and dirty, and I do mean quick and dirty because even this shitty version was a struggle for me to make. At the time I was trying to get it done, I was in a lot of pain and whatnot. so I just kind of half-assed the hell out of it. Like, the blade's not even straight up and down, it's ever so slightly off, but not enough for me to give a fuck about. It's not square with the table, of course, so I have to use something like this plus my square off the thing, and I have a way to. I did that on purpose. I left a big hole so that it's a little bit too big because I'm an idiot, but I'll probably cut out a little patch and then now that I have it finished, eventually make a thing. But I have a string here that's tied to that, and I can lock it open if I want, or I can do that. Right now it kind of needs I'm going to have to get under there and put a stronger spring on it. The spring that's on it's a little weak. I have springs just like that's there that are pretty strong, so I'll put a stronger spring on it. And then I need to also modify the angle of, I think it's the angle of that, because it gets hung up so that it can, when I'm sliding the board, push all the way back. But yeah, so, and this will be my little spacer rail once I do the thing with the square, and I'll just use these pre-made holes, you know, like with the blade down, you know, drill my pinholes to where it stays in place square with that, and then, you know, just keep coming out. Whatever this is about an inch. I ain't measured it, but whatever that space is, just make multiple little pinholes to put it in place. And that way, because I plan on making, like, you know, containers using some of the leftover paneling and stuff I have, and some of that pine wood, which is that piece. Those two pieces that are stacked there are cracked from that top piece. That piece is heavily bowed. There's a reason that's a temporary setup, and I didn't bother with making anything. Like, like I said, I slapped paneling on the ends of everything and just stapled it up there with a good staple gun. The old reliable Stanley over there. They don't make those anymore, that model, and they were pretty damn good. Shoots little paneling brad nails and the long staples. I like it. It's handy to have. But yeah, so those boards and some of the paneling are I'm gonna slot the boards and stuff every so often and make little containers in a thing to help me organize the tools and screwdrivers and whatnot. So that's the plan for this, and that's why I made this little cheap skill saw or circular saw on a table. I think this board is bowed. Oh man, it is. It wasn't bowed before. It's bowed now. Obviously, like horribly bowed. I'll have to find something else to use then. Find something a little straighter than that. But, because it's kind of, you can see it's bananaed in the way that I wanted to use it. It's probably fine this way, but there are no pre-drilled holes. I'd have to, either way, I could make the holes. That's just the pinholes. But if it's bowing, it's just going to keep bowing a little bit. And either way, I'll figure that out. I adapted it to my drill battery, and it's got this switch off of the power wheels. This is all just quick and dirty. One of these days I'll buy one of these types of table saws, these little ones like this. They're about this size. They're not too expensive, out of my price range. It works. It's running on my drill battery, which it ran on battery before, same voltage and everything. It's just the charger and batteries for it were no good. I made this quick and dirty adapter. It's part of a milk jug, some duct tape, a board. It's got the slot. It actually slots in and uses the thing. There's a notch in the wood to lock it in, so this can't just fall out. And it's got the two little. I did some kind of metalworking and like hammered and peened and whatever, and made custom little pins out of screws or well, bolts technically, little soft bolts, not aluminum, but soft bolts. And so they go in there and get stuck in, and there's a divider piece of milk jug there, a round piece. You know, so far nothing's gotten too hot. I think that's just where it's been sitting. Let me scrape that off. Yeah, it's not melted or nothing. That's just where it's been sitting down there on sawdust getting scraped around. But yes, it seems to be good enough for what I've been doing for now. So, and I got it like this so that I can, I was going to install it under here and all that stuff. I just got lazy. It's like, this is good enough. I do need to shorten this cable because, you know, amperage and whatnot. The cable gets slightly warm if I leave it on too long and cutting too thick of a board, because, you know, that's how that works. It needs to be a little shorter. That was the plan, but I only have so much energy in the day. I try to prioritize what's absolutely necessary and what's not. So we'll see. But yeah, it's got that, and then on the back side it's got an emergency piece like this that's attached to the actual trigger of the saw. So there's another one if something's going on. I should probably tie the string to it to where I can pull it from up here, but change the string. But yeah, there's a string hanging out from the back side because the way the piece pulls, I can yank that and pull the trigger off just in case something happens and I don't know, somehow this switch quits working and whatever. It's got that. I always like safety features. But and I made, because my old camera mount was shitty and wobbly from last summer, which was just a ski pole and a brake, well, that's part of it right over there. That thing, it just had a ski pole going through it, and it's a brake drum for like a bicycle or a go-kart. It was off of a trike rear end. But yeah, I had that lamp that I got for free because the wiring was no good, but the mechanism, it's like a Pixar style lamp, so it's got the pivoty points and stuff. And then I made this pivoty point out of part of the suspension from the what do you call it, RC car. So yeah, so these two things here, this arm is a shortened version and modified from the RC car. Part of it is attached and glued to and plastic welded, glued and plastic welded and all, you know, to this. And this is a actual adjustment. You twist it. It's a drawer handle, but now it's an adjustment. It's on there tight right now. I might actually notch that to where I can, it doesn't need to be that freaking tight. Well, oh wait, there it goes. I just had to move this part. It was really on there. But yeah, it locks on pretty good and stays pretty much however I want to put it together, organize or make it. And this part can, you know, be up here, over here, all that. And then there's this adjustment, and I can undo this bolt real quick and flip this whole thing around if I needed to, but I find that it facing like that's the best way. And then all of these, you know, these two. So I like it, and it's weighted, so it won't be as floppy and stuff if I bump it or whatever. And then, yeah, there's this, and I think I'm going to figure out either a better handle or add to that or something so that I can really get a good firm grip on it. Or I might just, it is just stainless steel, I could just weld on a little T piece to it, as long as it's not too big to be in the way of the camera. Yeah, I might do that. Because it's basically the same as these. Like, you get it close and then you move this to really tighten it, is the way I've been doing it. But if I have a bigger purchase over here, I could just put this where I want it and then tighten it here, basically. But yeah, so that's that. And this is the other battery. Yeah, everything's wrapped in duct tape around here. But this is the 12-volt lithium battery. It looks like a lead acid, but it's not. It's lithium. It's got a, you know, just a shitty built-in speed charger. That port is modified to only accept this charger in that specific orientation. This thing doesn't, it's not a universal port that works with all the other versions of these. It only works with this specific spacing of these little divots and things. So like spacing from the top here and all that, and the gap between there and there. It's that way it locks in and gets a good firm push on this bottom piece. It allows me to push it all the way in, get a good firm purchase on that, and then these two pins lock into some holes I made in the side of the thing. It was originally one of them that had like the metal insert out of a camper, and you know, the kind that are flimsy and shitty, but I modified it to be better basically. But it's in the process of doing that, I've basically made it to where it's only usable for this one, but that's fine. This one is actually pretty good. This is one of the speedy ones, puts out like 5 amps and stuff, so that's why I built it into it. And let's see, yeah, I finally rewired up these terminals. I did have it to where the cells had wires on them directly, because there's bolt holes underneath there too. And I was doing something else with it before, and then I decided to rewire its original wires that go from those cells up to these terminals on the inside. And so I did that. And right now this little short thing that's thin is just an adapter, I suppose, for the 12-volt harness on the scooter, which isn't much right now. As needed, I'll beef this up or modify or change it and change the ports and stuff. But for now, this little thin stuff, I use house wire for a lot of shit. And this looks like the same 2 runs, but it's not about color. There's like little grooves in it, and that helps you identify which one's which. You can feel the little grooves. One of them has grooves and one of them doesn't. But yeah, so I've got 2 ports there. One is, the only reason there's 2 is because I'm as usual, too lazy to, that temporary electric brake system I wired up. As soon as it starts staying above 32 degrees, above freezing or so at night, I'm going to put this back on the scooter so I have electric brakes, and then I can start using, you know, the radio, the dash camera, all the 12-volt stuff that I've put on it. And then also this is a backup power supply for this. This is about 1400 watt hours. This is, you know, around 1200 watt hours. So I can, you know, dump a lot with the charger and the micro inverter that I have somewhere. I don't know where the little inverter is. I might buy another one. Either way, the little 400 watt inverter is plenty enough with the charger I have right there, that if I needed to, I did that last summer a lot. If I went long range or was out very long, I could just flick a switch and start dumping power from this battery into this battery. It's not enough to fully charge it, but it's enough to get me home, usually. But yeah, so that's the... And it turns out I won't have to move like I thought I did this summer, so I'll get at least 1 more year, maybe. Still planning on moving, but I don't have to move right away, so that's good. So yeah, I might end up building another shelf thing to go there, to mostly for this stuff, the stuff that stays indoors. And then the other thing outside is going to have, for my welder, the modified dresser. And that's pretty much that. I've been rambling a while, but we'll get some more as it goes this summer. Like I said, I get to stay here, so there's this project I started last summer, but kind of got overwhelmed because I was trying to force myself to hurry up and get it done, which was stupid. And I needed to just think it through, which I can do this. This is basically just adapting a kid's Power Wheels to still be a Power Wheels and still be slow but torquey, but, you know, like they do. Have rubber wheels and whatnot, and have a better axle and better steering. It's for a neighbor's kid. And I'm going to do that alongside with finishing or just continuing on my RC car project, because I'm going to use the same controller and everything for that as I am for that. Just they make them for Power Wheels. It's what I originally built that on, was using a Power Wheels parts. So whenever I get back to that, I'll also order whenever I order the I ordered 2 of the same kit for the controller and the yeah, it's a controller and a controller the kit comes with. It comes with the part that's built into that, the receiver and the whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah. And there's this solar panel. Right now, this one's too long to go on the scooter unless I extend the roof back further, which I might. I'm heavily thinking about doing it. I checked this earlier where it's been rattling around the house all winter. I checked it a few days ago when we had a little bit of sun. All the stuff still works. Both the controllers still turn on. The 12-volt direct controller, and then this one is like for a golf cart. You can adjust the voltage manually to like the decimal points and things, or it has presets. The presets are typically for lead acids, but if you can manually go in and adjust the kick-offs and the kick-ons and all that stuff for lithium and whatnot for your batteries. And this one still kicks on, and that one kicks on in the sun. So they're both wired in pretty much parallel with this. So only one puts out power at a time. I forget which one is dominant. I can't remember. I think the 12-volt one's the dominant one that will stay on first until it's finished charging the 12-volt battery. And then when the 12-volt battery is done charging, any power, that thing's not putting out any amps, this thing, it will allow it to kick on. So, yeah, because I thought there was a problem last summer with it, but the more I watched it and paid attention, I realized it wasn't that they just can't work together, it's that they only work one at a time. And this one knows when there's enough amperage flowing to it to start actually doing anything. So that's fine. That works. That means both batteries stay charged. I don't have to do anything. That means the emergency 12-volt battery is always charged. And then this one's just maintaining, as I'm riding around, maintaining the 84-volt battery. So, yeah. But, yeah, I might put this cheap $60 panel back on it this summer. I don't know. Might get a better panel. But yeah, if you want to see, this is just a cheap light. It was like $14 on sale. It's a LED. It gets hot as balls, so I need to probably take it apart, make sure, and get a piece of aluminum to go all the way along the back here where the LEDs are attached to this little sheet of what's probably aluminum. Yeah, I'll modify it. I've used cheap LEDs before as long-term lights. That people think LEDs don't get hot. They get hot as balls. You got to have a heat sink, so I'm gonna modify it to have a better heat sink eventually. But yeah, and this is this little table that swivels and whatnot, made out of a big, heavy bar stool, and I made that adapter out of a broom handle. Part of a broom handle, which basically makes it more like a router, but also I just like it because this thing is notorious for just sending shavings of whatever you're dremeling on everywhere, all around, at my face and my hair. This is like a little guard, so I angle it like that, and it works great. So yeah, just kind of, that's what I've been doing, indoor dicking around, moving furniture. I don't know if I ever showed that build where I modified the cat tower. And then I've got my TV and piano set up. Some people think this is blasphemy or sacrilege or whatever. You know, I've got a laptop and an entertainment setup on the piano. I like it. Having the boards off of it and everything, and this, it's like a nice, the sound coming from the TV or the piano with the boards off is just, I like it. I like it a lot better. You can get a good sound and stuff. Oh, and I don't think I ever made a video on it showing it, but I did finally make that file knife. And I also made this holster for my sidearm here. It's a quick and dirty holster. It's structurally sound, but it's literally rough around the edges. And then so is this sheath for the knife. It's horribly made, but you know, it's a nice sharp knife. Let me pop it out of here. Oh. Yeah, I kind of made it tight in there One moment. There we go. Oh, gotta watch my finger. But yeah, I made this. I don't know if I ever showed it. It's only like has that braided look on one side because I was too lazy to pay attention and do it all on the other side. So it's just smooth on this side, the side that's, because I'm left-handed and this is how I use it. So it's smooth on that side. And then and this is just like a 2 ball knots or whatever that kind of lock into each other, so I can undo that if I need to or whatever. But I like having it like that so that it doesn't go anywhere. It's not a guard, but it is a useful feature. I liked that, so I did that. But yeah, I left it as a file for now as well, so I haven't smoothed down all of it because I still use this every now and then as a file. I haven't found a quality replacement yet that's cheap or used or whatever. So yeah, and this knife was specifically designed and shaped to be a weapon. This one wasn't really designed to use as a tool, but I still use the file as a tool, and it goes in there. The original sheath that I made for it's still in there, which is just duct tape and a piece of seat belt. A piece of seat belt wrapped around the sharp edge all the way to the end and folded over the same way. The leather's folded over out here, and then duct tape to hold it all in place. And then I just went over that even more with leather and thread, and then for emergencies I went ahead and added this, not real, I don't know if it's real paracord, but it's more of this basically. Just in case I ever need it in the future, just had it. It's all wrapped around there, a whole big bunch of it, just like it is here. In case, you know, you get out somewhere and you need string, and then there's that clip there that holds the whole thing on. The string is actually attached to that. Let's see. And if you're wondering, this whole thing is made out of an old Coach purse. Oh God, one-handed. It needs a thicker strap like an actual holster, but this one isn't uncomfortable at all right now. I guess it depends on the outfit you're wearing with it, if it's going to cut into you. But no, this strap's fine so far. But I would like a thicker, like a belt. I'll get one eventually. And those staples are just remnant from when I put it together. Those aren't the structural bit. Those were just what I used. I stapled it and folded over some of the ends to help me hold everything together as I was putting it together. And these are the cores out of some of the paracord that I had. Or I don't know if it's real paracord. I don't think it is. I don't know. And this is just a cheap high point if you're wondering, because, you know, I'm poor. But yeah, here's the thing I wanted to show you. So that's the sheath for that. And it's got the little chain link that I've had for years. I was like 17 and I found that buried in the dirt in my stepdad's shed. Like it had a dirt floor, and that was just kind of rusty as hell, buried and didn't open, didn't move. And he told me I could keep it. And I spent a while cleaning it and fixing it and getting it back working, and I've had it ever since. I don't know, just neat to me. But yeah, so that's my sidearm right now, and my knife. I don't carry it very often. I only made the holster in this setup so that, you know, I'm trans, so if I ever go out anywhere where I might need a visual aid to keep people from messing with me, or a useful tool in case they do mess with me. But yeah, oh gosh, I've been rambling for almost 30 minutes. How y'all gonna let me ramble for that long? Anyways, fixed the vise too. It wasn't actually broken, just needed cleaned. I did that. So I thought it was broken. Had heavy, thick metal chunks in there, but nothing too terrible. I took it apart and cleaned it and put lard all over it. Or I don't know, is this stuff called lard still? I don't know if this is true lard or if this is like, you know, not even. It's what I use for everything else. Lubing up everything. Just Crisco stuff. Need to get a new or a better wet rock thing. This one I've got so many notches and stuff from using it in weird ways. This is a soft one. I need to get a better one or a piece of granite. I don't know. And then, yeah. But yeah, so that's all it needed. And I coated the whole damn thing in it as well because, you know, it'd been outside for a while. So I didn't want it to continue to rust or anything too bad, so I oiled it similar to how you would a cast iron. And then I torched it a little bit, and then wiped it. So we'll see how long it stays like that and doesn't go bad. I'm not going to put it back outside, I don't think. I'm going to get a different type of vise for welding and stuff outside. Or not even a vise, just some better clamps and things. And figure all that out. But this vise for in here for little stuff tinkering is perfect. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. And I finally got these. These are $5. They're shitty, but that's the only other clamps I have right now, so that'll do. But yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. See you later.